now 7:01, and I will call the meeting to order. May we have roll call, please?
Mayor Reichel,
Here.
Pro Tem Knott,
Here.
Trustee Britnall,
Here.
Trustee Klassen,
Here.
Trustee Flores,
Here.
Trustee Hanrahan,
Here.
Trustee Seifert.
Here.
All right, may we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, be seated.
Excuse me.
All right, the first item on tonight's agenda is public comments. Persons desiring to make public comments on items not on the agenda, please activate the raised hand function in the meeting program. Or Sheila, did we have any phone calls or emails in regards to non-agenda items?
No, we did not, Mr. Mayor.
Okay,
Chief is indicating no one has signed
no
in.
one signed in? Okay. All right. Do we have anyone with hands raised?
We do not, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. All right, then we will move on to the next item, which is the consent agenda, which contains the minutes of the February 13th, 2023 Board of Trustees meeting. Would anyone like to talk about any of that or make a motion?
No, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as it's presented.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem not to approve the consent agenda as presented, seconded by Trustee Clausen. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Do any board members have any conflicts of interest with agenda items tonight?
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
No, sir.
I've got none. Do we have any agenda changes tonight?
None here.
Mr. Mayor, we have just one quick one. We'd like to introduce our new police employee. And I don't know when would be a good time to do that, but we're ready to do it whenever you are.
Let's just hit it
Right
right now if everyone's
right
okay.
now, does he-
Deal.
Okay, all right, easy enough. Chief, come on up.
I'd like to introduce you to Lieutenant Matt Grombeck. He's our second in charge now. First day, and he's still here, so.
Nice.
He passed the first test, yeah.
Showed up.
Nice.
It's perfect.
Nice to meet you all.
Me too. So how do you
Nice
spell
to
your
meet
last
you.
name?
Gronbeck, it's Gronbeck.
Okay. All right.
Hey, Matt, why don't you give us
Yeah.
just a thumbnail of kind of where you've been, where you are?
I've just started 23 years of law enforcement. I started with the Garfield County Sheriff's Office in 2000. I was there for a couple of years. I went to Coloma Springs Police Department. I was a detective for 10 years, a patrol sergeant. And then I came back to the Sheriff's Office, was promoted to corporal. I also had a K9 Messie for almost 2 years. And then with Silt.
Welcome to Silt.
Glad to have you.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
For a
It's
good
great.
long time.
Yep.
Yes, hopefully, yeah. Nice. No, I heard from a couple Garco guys that they were sad to see you leave, so
Yeah.
I'm glad we got you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Nope,
Yeah, that's great.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for coming in tonight.
Okay.
It's good.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thanks, man.
And come back tomorrow.
Thanks, Chief. He won't chase him off that fast.
Okay, all right. Any further agenda changes?
None for us.
Okay. All right. Then we'll move on to the extension request regarding fencing requirements for both marble shops at 401 Main Street, Unit 1B and Unit 6 and 7. And I will turn this over to Community Development Manager Centeno.
Alrighty. I would like to welcome Mr. and Mrs. Lindman and Mr. Gallegos if you guys want to come take a seat up here.
You drag some of these chairs up
thank
there
you.
for you. Yeah, we don't want you to have sit in the cheap seats.
We're okay with that. So Mr. and Mrs. Lindman are in the marble shop that is unit 6 and 7, and then Mr. Gallegos is 1B. So they both are requesting an extension to the fencing requirement that was part of their special use condition. With the crazy amount of snow that we've gotten this year, they have been unable to find a fencing contractor to complete the work and have been unable to safely move their slabs to the back of the building. We had originally said as part of their special use condition is that everything had to be moved by March 1st. That is rapidly approaching, and they are not at the point yet that they are able to accomplish that. So Mr. Gallegos and Mrs. and Mr. Lemon are requesting a 2-month extension that would put them into May 1st and give them a better ability to get the fencing contractor to be able to construct the fence, as well as rearranging the existing storage. Both companies have done their due diligence to try to find a fencing material that was similar to what was proposed by the board. They are struggling to find something that's in the United States that is exactly what we had given them as an example with that color bond. Their fencing contractor did find a product that's called Pro Panel number 2 Classic Rib. It is similar to what the existing building is as far as material. The fencing contractor thinks that it's just going to look like an extension of the building, that he can get similar colors, if not exact colors. So they are hoping that that will work as far as the fencing material. And there is an example of that in the packet. And I believe the color was the covert green.
Yeah,
Is that-
or the slates.
Or the slates, okay. So either one would match the colors of the building that's existing. Staff recommends that the board grant the extension to May 1st to construct the fence and move the products. The extension will be with the understanding that the special use permit would be revoked if the approved conditions are not satisfied by May 1st. Staff also recommends that the fencing material being used need to match and flow with the surrounding area, be durable, and it appears that the proposed fencing of Pro Panel would meet both. Both marble shops need to understand that there is a permitting process, and as soon as we had our joint meeting last week and that was discussed, they both have their applications in already, and they're just going to be pending the approval of the extension so their fencing contractor can get it going. So they've complied with that, and they understand that there's going to be inspections required as well. Would you guys like to add anything?
Mr. Mayor, trustees, and staff, we are really grateful, truly, that you are working with us. I've never seen a snowfall like this in many years. And so because the slabs are extremely fragile, it's impossible to move them when they're contained by snow. And also finding a fence contractor in Silt in the last few months has been close to impossible. So we do have somebody, and then of course as we progressed, we found the correct, or the closest panel that we could. And we're looking at a $40,000 investment for 40 linear feet of fence. So we feel kind of like we're all prepared and ready to roll with that. And we're just waiting on the okay from you. Our permits are in, and as soon as we get that okay for this particular product, which is from the highway feed, then we can order it. It's about a week or so, depending on the color choice, out. And then hoping that we don't have any more, well, I don't know, snow. Maybe more snow is good in the long run, but right now, if we can get the snow removed, the fence can go in, and then as the temperatures rise, we can move slabs safely without having, I think some of you guys are in construction, and it's just been a bear of a year. So we want to thank you very much for even hearing this discussion today.
Yeah, I don't have an issue on the extension. I have a question about the panel. It's like a roofing panel, right? So I'm sure it'll look okay as a fence, but it's pretty thin, right? So are there any standards as far as, once that fence is built? Because we're doing this really for the aesthetics of the town, to kind of keep it looking nice and clean. So, I mean, if you guys are moving stone and you accidentally hit it with a piece of granite, or you hit it with the end of your forklift, or I don't know, I mean, do these things have to be certain rating for wind so that they don't blow the panel out? I mean, I don't know how you would construct it, I guess, but so what are our guidelines, I guess, regarding that if any of those scenarios happen? Are they then going to be required to repair it and bring it back to looking okay, or are they going to have the autonomy to just leave it looking all beat up if it gets all beat up? Because I would not like the alternative. Hold on one second. Maybe you could answer that.
I would default to the fencing contractor, since that's kind of their trade of what they're doing. He seemed like he came in and got his contractor's license, and he was pretty confident that the material being used is sufficient for fencing, and said that he's used it in the past.
Okay.
He is attaching it to metal poles, and
Sure.
I guess if it does get hit and bent, it would be the responsibility, and that could be part of the extension conditions, that you could say that it needs to.
Well, I think
It
it's a
needs to be
question maybe we didn't
replaced.
ask before, but I would like it to be required that if, any part of that fence takes some pretty substantial damage, that it impacts the aesthetics of it, that it gets repaired or replaced.
Yeah,
know
and
if
we
you
can
guys
definitely
agree
add
with
that to
that,
the
but-
extension
Would
conditions.
there be a current code that would cover that? I mean, I would think that we'd have a code that would cover that for any fence in the town of Silt. If it gets damaged, it must be replaced within a certain time frame. Maybe that's a code we need to.
That is a code we need to develop. Yes.
I don't know if it does for the appearance, but for the function, to keep it opaque and not see the storage, they have to be in compliance, so it would have to be prepared to at least meet that standard.
Yeah. So if there was like a hole in it, but you're talking more just along the lines of like if it dents out or.
Well, sort of, yeah. I'm just thinking, I mean, right? I'm sure moving giant pieces of stone, is not fun, and it's probably very difficult, and I'm sure that mistakes happen, and, I'm sure you don't want to, but I bet it does. Like, you back your forklift into it, you turn, and you think you've got clearance, and you hit it, and all of a sudden it's got a hole in it, or a dent, or it's falling. I would just I would like there to be something in writing. This is my opinion, you guys can chime in, that type of damage gets repaired in a timely manner to keep the aesthetics, because if we just have them put this fence up as part of the special use permit, but there's nothing there that says they must maintain it, well, shit, they could just drive over it and leave it and then keep driving over it, you know what I mean? So I don't want that to happen.
Right.
That's my only question,
Okay.
or my only concern on everything. And I guess I would take the suggestion of, Trey, Jerry, Keith, I mean, the guys that do construction and kind of know this material better than I do, that it's sufficient for.
One thing about this, it'd be 3-foot sheets, so it wouldn't be hard to replace one. But we gotta be kind of careful if we forced anybody else to fix their fence.
Yeah, I don't want to single somebody
I
out.
mean, we start this, then we gotta go,
I think that
It's a
we gotta
special,
check everybody else in town if
It's a
their fence.
it's a special use
a
permit.
special use permit, yeah.
But still, there's other special use permits that got fences too. If we ever force them. I mean, I'm just going down that road.
Well, it could just be a condition of the special use permit that the fence has to be built and maintained.
Yeah, but we already approved the.
Well, and it is in code 1506050, maintenance of fence, retaining walls, and screening devices. All fences, retaining walls, and screening devices, whether required by this code or not, shall be maintained with finishes and surfaces in good repair, and shall be in sound structural condition. So there is
go. Thank you.
something in code
So right there, you got it.
There we go. Done.
Right.
It's already in there.
Good
Perfect.
job,
And I
Trey.
have something to add. I have a fence like kind of similar to that in my house, and the wind. I have like a lawn sheets anyways, but the wind, I don't think it will
Oh, no
damage
problem.
it. No,
Yeah.
I have it for like at least like 3 years and a half, and there is a big winds coming from right and everything, and it doesn't have any damages at all.
Okay.
Yeah, what do you think? I mean, you were the one that kind of originally.
Yeah,
did
I'm
the
fine with
fence,
this
whatever.
product. I mean, like you said, it'll look like an extension of the building,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like a wing wall. You know, I assume they're gonna have some kind of metal structure with these panels actually attached to it.
yeah.
It's not just gonna be the panels
Right.
stacked up, so, yeah.
It is a expensive, sturdy fence.
Sturdy fence, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for what they said, like I think it's gonna be 4 poles at least on 20 feet, so every 5 feet, I
Every
think
5
it's gonna
feet,
be,
so,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
gonna be a pole.
yeah.
So I had something too. Seems to me like on the west end, which is you guys on the west end, I've seen more slabs show up and just set outside there instead of put around the back.
We have
As-
started putting them in the back. If you go around the back, there's more,
Okay.
there's a rack up there. that
Because
we
it
set
seemed
up,
like
so
it
we're
grew out a little bit more towards the west.
So
of
we're
the
getting
parking
those
lot.
moved back there now, yeah.
Okay. And you guys have been doing that since we've had the original discussion here?
Yeah, we had some, well, the snow and the ice was an issue, but yeah, so the last few weeks, we've been moving slabs slowly over there. The ones that we can move safely, we've moved back on that backside. So there's
All right.
already racks set up, and we've started having slabs back there now,
Okay.
so.
Okay.
That'd be really mean if we didn't give them the extension. It's pretty bad out there right now, so we will.
Yeah, and the first is coming very quickly.
We had to wait to get the cement poured.
Yeah, I mean-
I was just gonna ask if the
Pouring
cement-
concrete.
Delays in construction, I'm
shocked.
Yeah.
And then the snow landed on the cement, so
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
kind of, so thank you for understanding.
Okay.
Your lights downtown look beautiful, and I'm not schmoozing, they really do.
Anything else on that, guys?
Nope.
So, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the extension request regarding fencing requirements for both marble shops at 401 Main Street, Unit 1B and Unit 6 and 7. And I would approve the use of the fencing material that's presented to us here.
Second.
All right. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem not to approve the extension request regarding fencing requirements for both marble shops at 401 Main Street, Unit 1B and Unit 6 and 7, with the fencing material presented to us. And that one was seconded by Trustee Seifert. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
There you go.
Carries
All right, good to
unanimously.
go.
All right. Thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much for your time.
Thanks, have a good night.
Thank you very much.
All right, next up is the continued first reading of ordinance number 1, series 2023. An ordinance of the town of Silt, Colorado, granting a cable system franchise to Comcast of Colorado, and staff requested continuance to March 13th, 2023.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the continued first reading of ordinance number 1, series 2023 to March 13th, 2023.
I'll second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem not to approve the continued first reading of ordinance number 1, series 2023 to the March 13th, 2023 Board of Trustees meeting. Seconded by Trustee Clausen. All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All's opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Bulk water usage data update. I think we
Covered that.
took care of that one, unless we have anything else we'd like.
I think we've talked about it. I think for this meeting, it might not be a bad idea just to recap what the staff's direction is
Okay.
Okay.
on that, and that is to come back to the board with a plan to raise rates for commercial water, right? Or all of
It was
it?
just for bulk water to,
All of it,
Bulk water.
to a break-even rate, make sure we can demonstrate to the board that that's where we are, and then have sort of a backup plan for eliminating the use if necessary.
That sounds right.
Sounds right. Yep.
That's what we'll do.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Next up is a transfer of funds to C-Safe update with Treasurer Tucker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My video will not start, apparently. I'm trying, but it's not coming on. So we have for about $4 million that we can move from A and B into C-Safe. The highest yield that we get from A and B at this moment is 0.99. The lowest is, 0.2. C-Safe is averaging 4.5. Sometimes it's 4.4, sometimes it's up to 4.6. And I think it just makes sense financially for us to do that because it would increase the revenue of what we're currently getting to more than $12,000 a month if interest rates stay the same.
Great.
And we just kind of want to let you know we're doing that in case you have an objection to it.
I did it yesterday.
It's reasonably recent, the increase along with the Fed increasing, there you are.
Hello.
There it is. I kept trying to hit the button, it just wouldn't do it.
Increasing the interest rates, and that's C-Safe has responded more aggressively to that than the bank. So it makes a lot more sense to store it there.
We haven't had that discussion with C-Safe in quite a long time, since really the first time we decided that we would do it and got the presentation. I guess just the two questions I have is, when we put the money into C-Safe, does it have to stay into that account for a certain amount of time before we ever are able to remove it if we ever needed it? No.
No, there's no limitation, or it's not like a CD.
Yeah, okay. And then what about just clarification on the $8.2 million in cash that this shows we have? Is that just like in our overall operating budget?
That's
in like our
overall over all of our accounts that we have. So we have our combined checking account that we do all of our payroll and vendor payments out of. And so we're looking about moving half of that because we want to have the liquid capital to, or the liquid assets to be able to pay our everyday bills.
Yeah.
With the C-Safe, we would need about a 1-day lead time to get money if we needed it.
Oh, yeah. No, that's no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the only questions I had about that.
So you'll see that we do have money in between C-Safe and Color Trust, and both of those are, they both specialize in and only take deposits from government.
Oh, yeah. Well, and what's the difference between C-Safe 01, 02, and 03?
It's just where the money was coming from. So we have it kind of separated out to where the interest gets credited to the general fund or to the water department.
Oh, okay. So will this be a C-Safe 04, or will this go into one of those three accounts already?
I haven't figured that out yet because I'll have to figure, because it's in our money market right now, and so I'll have to figure out what the percentages are for fund balances.
Okay.
So it may be evenly distributed between the three that we already have.
Makes sense. I get it. Okay. Thanks, Amy.
You're welcome.
I have no objection. I'm not opposed to it, I guess.
I see no reason not.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, while you're here with us, you want to jump into the January 2023 financial report?
Absolutely. So 8% whole of the year has elapsed since the last time I did this. We are ahead, of course, in our sales tax. We are at 9.8% of where we thought we would be. So we're a little ahead of our yearly projection. Our use taxes almost at 12%, so we're way ahead of that. We're pretty steady in the general fund as far as our revenues go. We're a little under where we thought our expenses would be. We're pretty close on the irrigation fund and the victims assistance fund and the construction impact fund, but we're lacking in the other funds as of right now. But of course, the year is just beginning. We're pretty right on the nose for our trash, water, wastewater, and irrigation service fees, and I'll answer any questions you may have.
Were you surprised at the sales tax number, or was that somewhat expected? And then how's February look so far?
I wasn't surprised. We keep doing really well, and I can only contribute that to online sales.
Yeah.
Just, people buying more online as far as Amazon or eBay or Home Depot or Walmart or anything that gets delivered to their homes.
And then how's February looking so far?
I did not look at that. Normally I kind of take a peek, but I didn't take a peek this month.
I only say all that because I still think we budgeted too low on that. I think we're going to blow it out of the water again. just my
Well,
opinion.
I'd rather blow it up than do the other end.
I know,
Yeah,
but
then it'd be way-
still.
Yeah.
Okay.
Estimate low on revenues and high on expenditures, and you'll be great.
Okay,
All right, thanks, Amy.
Thank you.
unless anyone had any questions for
Oh, yeah.
Joe.
No, thanks, Amy.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up is administrator and staff comments.
I don't have anything to discuss. You might note that I didn't even do a staff report this time because I did one last time and I didn't have any more to add, so, I mean, I probably did. I could have
work since then?
scoured the, the calendar a little better, but, I think, we've reported a lot of what we're doing through the other staff reports in our newsletters, so I don't have anything else to highlight. Trey or staff, anybody else got anything they want to highlight?
No. Okay.
Okay, then we'll move on to updates from the board and board comments, and we'll start with trustee Hanahan.
Mr. Mayor, if I can maybe add, we're going to have DMV coming to town here in a couple of weeks. We were reached out to their mobile unit who will be coming in to help people get their licenses, renew their licenses, ID cards and permits, and answer a lot of questions regarding their licenses if they have them. So we're hoping to get a good turnout from the whole area.
Now, do they need to book appointments through them? Do they book those appointments through the DMV for Silt, or is that something they do through the town, or what, how they do that?
Well, right now, we're just going to have people walk in until we see what kind of a response we get. If we find that we're going to have an overwhelming response, then we're going to set up an avenue for people to go online and make appointments, so that way we can limit the amount of people that do come in.
All right.
In other words, citizens, you can come in and do a first come, first serve right now, whereas you can't if you go to Glenwood to the DMVs. So if you need to get your license renewed, get it done here in Silt, make it convenient.
Right, yeah. They won't be able to do the actual testing here, but they can handle all the other functions of a person getting their license.
Renewed stuff.
Okay.
That's great.
And we're the only one in this 14-mile section between Newcastle and Rifle. Neither of those towns does this, so the idea that it's kind of central,
Oh, okay.
I think, appealed to CDOT, or CDOT, I keep saying CDOT, DMV, because this is a relatively new program, as I understand it. Sheila.
That's great.
Awesome. Updates from the board and board comments. Trustee Hanahan.
Nothing here, Mr. Mayor.
Nothing here.
Just remind people about shoveling snow. Make sure you're shoveling the driveway, from driveways into the yards, if you can. Other than that, just look forward to seeing what's coming up.
Okay. Trustee Clausen.
I had a question. I noticed out there by River Trace Apartments, they're pulling up the old irrigation pipe that they just put in and putting new stuff in there. Do you know?
I'm not
about
for sure
that?
what that is.
'Cause,
Was
yeah,
it
I
a
saw-
culvert?
It's the
Culvert,
culvert
yes,
for the
sorry,
irrigation
culvert.
ditch.
They crushed the culvert.
Oh, in the irrigation
Yeah,
ditch, yeah.
yes,
No,
sorry.
when they were doing the groundwork over there, they crushed the culvert. And they tried to fix it and it didn't pass the ditch company, so they have to pull up a new one and put a new one in.
Oh, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you. And the other thing I had is that on A Street by the Miners Claim, there's that military truck there. And I'm pretty sure the property line is the edge of the building, and they even have their own sign there that says no parking. So if that's town right-of-way, it would be nice to get that thing gone because, it takes away from parking downtown, and it's not real attractive.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point, Chris. We put that sign up during COVID when we had the tent up for the miners' claim. And we had to, I think we had to maintain access through there so cars could get to the, whatever market was there before. Or maybe
Yes.
it was this market. I don't
It
know.
wasn't, it was the market before.
Yeah.
And so we had a
worked with the
fire
property.
access. and-
Yeah. So, that's a good point. I don't know where that right-of-way line is. If it's at the building, then we need to, because they've got a dumpster in it too then.
Yeah.
But the dumpster's, I think, always been there.
Yeah.
So we'll put that on the list. Thanks for bringing that up.
Sure. And then the
I
only
thought that truck had left for good, and then all of a sudden it showed back
showed up, yeah. Yeah, and the only other thing I had was, Fernie's on Main Street there. Everybody going in and out, they're just tracking mud all up and down the streets. I don't know if there's something that if the landowner needs to put gravel down or something to, just to keep,
A road clean.
just to try to keep the downtown area looking nice. That's all I have.
All right, Trustee Seifert?
I'm gonna bring something up. It was approached to me by a couple of residents that watch on camera. They wanted me to ask the county commissioners, everybody's in chambers, the other towns, they're in chambers. Where are we at getting back into chambers with our meetings? They brought it up. I said, I will bring it up. Of people being back in the chambers instead of on cameras and Zoom and whatever.
We
Is that-
are. I'm
Yeah, but I think like the county, everybody's in the room. In the town, I think Rifle, everybody's in the room. That's where they're getting at. How come we're scattered around? I just bring it up.
My board comment is that I fully agree with that comment from Trustee Seifert. Everybody needs to be in the chambers. I'm tired of Zoom. That's all.
Okay,
That's all I have.
that's it?
That's it.
Okay. I just wanted, can we get an update on the Family Dollar? I know they dropped off a couple pieces of equipment there, so do they have permits to start building? Do they have, they're moving dirt, so do they have
Yes.
permits?
They have, Nicole can probably answer more, but I know they do have the permits to start moving dirt.
Dirt?
And I believe all the building permit, I think, might have been paid for also.
Okay.
We just got everybody licensed as contractors and their permit is here, ready to pick up. They were just moving some of the top dirt, but they are permitted and ready to get going.
Awesome.
They've seemed to expand into the wetlands. Are they still within reason on the property?
As far as I could tell, yes, with the property and the wetlands delineation that was still there. And we talked to them about that, because that's gonna come more from the Army Corps of Engineers if they encroach
Right.
too far on that wetlands.
Other than that, I've got nothing, so. Just make sure. Yep, okay. Next item on the agenda is adjournment.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion by Trustee Seifert to adjourn the meeting, seconded by Trustee Clausen. All is in favor?
Aye.
All is opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, we got a little.